I thought we did a great job offensively in the first inning. We'd heard a lot of good things about the lefty, and he beat Kentucky last week, and I think they got one hit in 4 or 5 innings against him. And they've got a good team. They've scored a lot of runs. So we had heard that he was 91, 94. We saw a lot of video. He looked pretty good. And I don't know when his back started hurting him. I guess that's what they took him out for. But I felt like in the first inning, we were on him. We were on his fastball, and we laid off his breaking ball. And, we scored a couple runs, but we were one hit away from scoring 2, 3, 4 more. That was probably the disappointing part of it. But the good thing is we got his pitch count up, and I just felt like our bats were good. And obviously they took him out. In the second, we punched in a bunch of runs and, gave us a little bit of a chance to relax. I thought McIntyre wasn't real sharp early. Honestly, the last couple of hitters after he got hit in the leg, that to me, that was the best he threw the ball. I don't know. I'm going to have to kick him in the leg or something before we put him out there. But he threw the ball good. He threw the ball down. It's hard. He's getting close. He's getting close to being back to where he was. So it was really good to see Austin Ledbetter come in there and fill up the zone about 90 miles an hour. Pitched a lot better tonight than he had in his previous outing. So those are probably some of the pluses of the night.
You mentioned that first inning. It kind of started with a weird play with the Josenberger being called out for, was it running inside the baseline? Is that what it was?
Yeah, they could call that every time. Yeah, that's the thing. It's just I don't know. It's probably the one rule in baseball that's been in there forever, that you just kind of, how do you change it? You put another base out to the side. We hear about it all the time. You saw it. I think it kind of changed the World Series in the big leagues many years ago on a play like that. And he bunted. So when you bunt, especially when you're on the right side, you're going to start on the field of play and you got to slowly get back. But there's really no way to get back. I mean, you'd have to touch the outside of the bag, and it's a tough call. The only thing that irritated me about the call is the umpire told me that it hit him in the middle of the back, the throw. Well, the throw, that's not what I saw. I saw the ball hit the first baseman's glove. And then, because I was getting ready to have him, look at it, and then I changed my mind. I said, "Well, if his ball hit him in the back, I'm not gonna waste one of my challenges." And then Tavian, I asked him. I said, "Where'd the ball hit you?" He goes, "It didn't hit me." I said, "It didn't hit you in the back?" He said, "No." So then when I went back out and said something, and then he said, "Well, he was in the baseline," and so the ball didn't hit him. That's the irritating thing, and I think the first baseman just didn't catch it. So it was a weird play, but then we really did a nice job after that. Stovall hit one out of the park, and I think might have shook up their pitcher just a little bit.
Yeah, Stovall and Wegner have both gone deep in the last 3 games. What do you make of their performances?
Well, they're both swinging the bat really good, and they're hitting about everything that's thrown at them, breaking balls, fastballs, and Jared's gone opposite field, pulled the ball. Peyton's hit him in the alley, hit him down the line. I mean, he's swinging the bat well. Both of them are swinging the bat really well.
With Ledbetter, it seemed like in the fall he was primed for a big role to take a step forward, and then things haven't been as good to start. But do you think this outing is something to kind of get him going and maybe get him back to the guy you expected him to be in the offseason?
Well, I hope so. I made a comment after the game, kind of pumped him up. That's the the pitcher we need, because some of our older guys haven't come back throwing like they threw last year. You'd think they'd be there a little better, but they'll get there. I feel like they will. And I mean, he could take a middle relief role, and maybe even a midweek starter role. I mean, there's different things there. He's versatile. He's a good athlete. Like having him in the middle of the diamond. But bottom line, you got to throw strikes, and that's what he did today.
McIntyre, he ate 5 innings. I'm sure you'd like him to maybe be able to work that up a little bit, but is that kind of how you see it, where he might just have to battle through and eat innings for you guys, given the issues with the pitches, the rest of the pitches?
I mean, somebody has to. Honestly, we were helping for a minimum of 6 today, and he had a couple innings where he threw 20 plus pitches, it seemed like, and so he cuts down a little bit there. He might have been able to give us 7, and the thing was, they weren't scoring, but he was throwing a lot of pitches. He was full count on everybody. Foul ball, out, walk, base hit, or whatever happened. You know, it's just too many pitches. And he's a more of a attack, you get ahead of you and pitch to contact type guy. Strikeouts are great, but you know, try to get weak contact. That's what we'd rather see.
First time on the field for Jason Jones in about a week and a half. What'd you make of his day?
Well, it didn't go very well at the beginning. I think it finished pretty good, obviously. I mean, his first two at bats, he had the bases loaded with less than 2 outs and didn't drive in a run. So that was disappointing. And then after that, I think he had enough. And then he, you know, basically hammered the first pitch, fastball out of the park. And I think he grounded to second, but the third at bat, but then he hit one out of the park. And then he fought off a tough pitch and he just muscled it over the first baseman's head. And, you know, it's just good to see, good for his confidence. And looked like to me, he grabbed a little bit of an attitude in the middle of the game, like he'd had enough and it was time to do something. And he did. That was really good to see.
What do you think of the play that Jace Borfin made at the wall in the second?
Hey, great play. I mean, we're going to be down 4-2. And was that in the second inning? Yeah. And, you know, when the ball was hit, we didn't even think I didn't think it was going out. And the ball was really traveling to right field today. The wind was kind of swirling, but I guess it kind of was pushing from the northeast. That's where the wind was blowing at the time. And that ball just kept going and going. And Jace got to the wall, did a great job. You know, he drove in some runs with his bat, but he also saved his 4 with his glove. So that's the way I look at it.
I came in late, so I apologize if you've answered this. Faraday looked like he might have been shaking his arm when he came out. Was he injured?
Sure looked like it to me. I don't know what's wrong with him. So I was going to take him out. So I think he was, he wasn't feeling right.
The way you guys got to Gongora, you said in the pregame show that, you know, you're hoping to drive his pitch count up early. You did that in the first inning, and then he left with the injury. What did you, or how did you feel like you were able to?
Yeah. And that's what I started out with. I thought that's what we did really well. We got after a pitcher that's had a lot of success this year. He's beat an SEC team already on the road. And I felt like we were all over him. We were on his fastball, laying off his breaking ball, and took some really good swings, got his pitch count up, and we only scored 2 runs. But I think that we gained a lot of confidence in that first inning that, you know, I don't know when he hurt his back, if it was during the inning or he locked up after the inning, but I would have liked to have seen him come back. I wanted to see how we were going to handle it. I'm always thinking about getting ready for the league play, and we're going to see pitchers like that in league.
Plays, what'd you think of the last one?
The great play on both sides. You know, Holt made a super nice play on that backhand. It kind of came up on him and he let it go, you know, and he got rid of it quick, threw it hard. I thought that Reese Robinette made a great play too, because he stretched out there and made it look easy, and kind of excited because he knew he ended the game. So that was fun to watch.
Hey, Coach, no 1, 2, 3 innings today at all. What do you just kind of make of the production up and down the entire lineup and what that does for you?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that we fight him pretty good. I mean, we've done that all year. We fouled off a lot of pitches and haven't had too many 1, 2, 3 innings. I don't know. Did we not have one inning where the guy only threw like a few pitches? Maybe the game's running together for me, but I just feel like most of the time we're gonna see some pitches and hit some balls hard, and you know, I felt like we did that again today.
Thanks.
Going tomorrow, just how good does it feel to have a guy like that game 3, regardless of what happens in the first 2?
Yeah, I mean, older guy, can pitch, left-handed. He felt like he didn't have a great outing last weekend. I know he's ready to go, and 70-degree day. I think he's really excited to go. We definitely want to see him pitch, and hopefully he'll have a really good outing, and you know, we can get into the game. I'd like to see him go 5 or 6, and if he goes more, that's fine. So you know, he's a good Sunday guy. All right.